European settler, not first person. Wherever you are in North America, Native Americans were there first. And it should come as no surprise that we are in fact on the land of the Massachusetts tribe. 26 out of the 50 states in the US are named after local Native populations. And in the language of the Massachusetts, they call this peninsula Shawmut, which means land of the living waters. Because although it's in a saltwater harbor, there are many freshwater springs running throughout, which are super useful if you're trying to stay alive. So William Blackstone carves out this chunk of land as his farm, and he lives here by himself for about 5 years, until 1630 when the Puritans arrive. Now, to understand the Puritans of the 1500s, you have to go back to the 1600s when Henry VIII was King of England. Real quick, Henry wants to break up with his wife, the Pope says no, Henry stomps his feet, he says, fine, I guess we're just not going to be Catholic anymore. This is only 20 or so years after the Reformation in Germany, so when many of the British subjects hear this, they're like, oh sweet, we'll be Protestant, right? Oh, wrong. Henry's Reformation really only goes far enough so that he can get divorced. So there are many British subjects who want to purify the Anglican Church of the remnants of Catholicism. So they get pejoratively nicknamed the Puritans. They call themselves the godly ones because they're super humble. So they run away to the colonies. Who do they find but an Anglican minister? William Blackstone now has 600 neighbors who want to purify him. So he sells them his farm and he runs away to a brand new colony made specifically for kicking people out of Boston. You may have heard of it. It's called Rhode Island. And that's not a joke, that is true. And the Puritans declare this Boston Common, making this the oldest public park in the country, because this land's never been developed on. But this is not a park for people. This is where the Puritans grazed their livestock. But over time, this became where we trained our militia, where we punished our criminals, and where after the passage of the Stamp Act, we broke out into 2 weeks of riots. And the riots were so bad that when Parliament passed the Townshend Act, they also sent an occupation of 2,000 British soldiers who were living on the Common to keep the peace. I'm sure we all know how that goes. 2,000 might not sound like a lot to some of you 2,000 new people show up in your hometown, you might know. Modern day Boston. The population of Boston at the time was only around 15,000. And this is back when people had like 12 kids. There were only 4,000 adult men in the city of Boston. That's a soldier for every other adult man. That's a massive occupation. In order to get the same scale of occupation today, the entire US Army would have to camp out in Central Park in New York City right now. It's only a matter of time before that large of a military presence leads to violence. And it does, on March 5th of 1770 with the Boston Massacre. Tensions continue to build until December 16th of 1773 with the Boston Tea Party, and then, only a year and a half later, in the middle of the night, the British soldiers leave the Boston Common on a top-secret mission to seize weapons being held in Lexington and Concord. Our militia run up to hit them off. A shot is fired, we will never know by whom, and the American Revolution begins. So that is why I can say that both the city of Boston and the American Revolution started right here, and my friends, that's just the first stop. A little bit of housekeeping before we move on. First of all, if at any point you can't hear me during the tour, give me a big one of these, real big and obvious. I do have a mic. I'll be adjusting it to our surroundings today. If things get really loud, I have a headset I can switch to. We will make it work. As we're going along, I will not start talking about our new site until I have all of you with me. So if you see me running ahead of you a little bit, it's just to stake out space. And if you hear me talking before you arrive, I'm vamping filler material. You're not going to miss anything. Please don't feel like you have to run to catch up with me. Please stay safe. If you trip and fall and die, it's my job to clean it out. You all seem so lovely. I'd rather not. Alright, you're all adults. We have all adults today, correct? Which means you get to hear some of my raunchier jokes. Get excited. I'm excited. I've been doing tours for 4th graders all week. So while we're walking between sites is a great time to ask questions. And if there are no further questions about the Common itself or the way the tour will operate, great. We got one last thing here. I'm going to teach you a little bit of French. You guys who already know it can help the ones who don't pick it up. I'm going to teach you how to say, let's all go over there. But it's a lot more fun in French. Friends, see that shiny thing right over there? Allons-y!
Allons-y.
This is fun.
I know, right? I like this humor.
Yeah. It's the way how you assume the pronoun for me. You know you don't do that.
The little Creole I know them.
Allons-y. Me too, Madeline.